Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about back training. And yes, I know I started this off with curls, but I'm also walking away from the camera there from that clip so you guys can see what my back looks like when I'm just walking around. So that's probably an important preface because, you see so many people out there who are afraid to train their back hard, and they come up with all of these silly ideas about how to develop their back, and it's even evidence-based people, but they don't base it on science, right? The research doesn't even support the stuff that they say, and it's always weird things. What do you hear people saying all the time, who almost always have small backs? Keeping in mind a lot of these evidence-based people, even who promote this stuff, they're like, well, I do this for my back, and it's like, well, it's clearly not working. No offense intended, but it's clearly not working, right? So I've either concluded that all those people have the worst back genetics in the world, or their methods just simply don't work. And again, it's not science-based. Like, there's not hypertrophy studies supporting a lot of what they say. And if you look at hypertrophy studies, a lot of it directly would disagree. A lot of the general principles we find disagree with what they're saying. So what sort of nonsense do you see? Oh, doing a single arm lat pull down, right? And it lines things up perfectly with the angles in your back. Well, that's not how muscles work, first of all. When you have people who start talking about the stuff like that, to where lining stuff up with the angles of a muscle fiber, but they're on the other end of a joint, okay? Doesn't actually work. And they'll say that. It's like, oh, well, these single arm lat pull downs. Yeah, okay, well, you still don't have a back. The guy saying it doesn't have a big back. Lats and traps are lacking. So it's clearly not working for them. Clearly not working. Another big one, squeezing at the top. You just have to squeeze at the top. Yeah, that's not the secret to growing your back either, because does research even support that? What happens? What do we look at in studies? Where's most of the growth happen? At the lengthened position. There's no real evidence that squeezing a muscle in the shortened position does anything for muscle growth at all. That's not supported by any data, right? Not supported by data. And you even go look at a lot of the bodybuilders who are known for their monstrous backs. Most of them don't do that. Just so you go over the anecdote. So you don't have good anecdote to support it. You don't have data to support it. The data suggests otherwise. That's nonsense. Same thing, guys who are like, well, I use straps so that my grip won't be the limiting factor. Really, I don't use straps. I mean, I've had phases where I use straps for certain things. I'm always worried about my grip. So for me, I want all my exercises to improve my grip. I want all my rowing to improve my grip. I want all my deadlifts to improve my grip. I want big, thick forearms. So here's what I would say to the people who say that. But how many guys have massive backs who don't use straps? Well, it's clearly not limiting them. I mean, in my case, I have pretty dang big back. I need a grip to be a power lifter. So I let my back training, this is going to be a shock for people, I use my back training as my grip training. What I find with a lot of these guys who do this, the same guys who say the other things actually tend to be the same ones who say that. It's like, okay, so now you don't have forearms. Hey, that's great. And you still don't have a back. That's a problem. So how do we grow a massive back? Just get really strong at rows and deadlifts. Notice I didn't say just deadlifts by itself. Get strong at rows and deadlifts. You will have big lats, big traps. Okay. Now, granted, my grip is a little bit of a limit when I'm doing these rows, but I'm intentionally picking a row variation that makes my grip work harder, right? So in that case, notice I'm using a pretty slippery bar. I've already done other rows first so that everything's fatigued, like I've done one-arm dumbbell rows before that. because in that case I'm actually trying to train my grip. But even then I'm still doing sets of 10 with 225. Now if I row off the floor without straps, I can go a lot heavier. I go 30, 40 pounds heavier and get 10 reps. Okay. Those dumbbell rows, I'm doing those with 115 pounds. Right? Deficit deadlifts, work sets with 500. All right, that will build a back. That will build a back. And if you usually look at the people who have the best back development, you almost always see that. They tend to be really strong at rows. And notice strength, I didn't even say 1 rep max. Sure, I could talk about deadlifts also there, but I'm also doing deficit deadlifts, which actually build better traps and things in my opinion. But I'm doing sets of 8 here. This is 8 reps, 500. This is not my max. I pull over 600 pounds. So when I'm saying strength, I'm not even talking about just a 1 rep max, but get strong at your 8 and 10 rep sets. Get really strong at rows. Make sure they stretch at the bottom. Get strong at deadlifts. Get strong at these movements and you will build a big back. But you're going to have to move some weight. All right, if you really, really want serious back development, you're going to have to move some heavy weight. All right, you can't keep rowing with 135 pounds. You're going to have to get stronger than that. Okay, you can't just use the 50-pound dumbbell and squeeze at the top. And I don't like it where the people row to the hip either. I actually don't like that. I row all the way to the chest. Okay, you have to get strong at these things. You probably need to be able to rep at least 405, at least 4 plates aside for rep work on deadlifts to really build a back. You probably need to be rowing close to 2 plates aside. You need some heavy dumbbells. This is how you build a back. People, this is how you do it. And people can not like that, but at the end of the day, big, heavy weights. Same thing, we say pull-ups, get really strong at pull-ups. 200-pound guy who can crank out 20 pull-ups. If we don't want to use RAS, I think rows are better overall, but I think pull-ups are good exercise. I've done 20 pull-ups before on camera. I don't do them anymore. I prefer rowing. Okay. It's where you can do those things. You'll have a back. But these other things are nonsense. They're not going to be the magic secret. They're not. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.